Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Thursday morning, and yes, it is Thursday morning. Someone told me just yesterday that on Tuesday, when I greeted you, that I claimed that it was Thursday morning. So evidently, the person who is leading these prayer tips doesn't even know what day it is. Well, today I do know what day it is. It's Thursday morning. It's actually day 19 in our 22 days of prayer initiative. It's gone by quickly, and these morning prayer times have as well. This is our next to the last day of doing this at 5:30 together because we only do this on Monday through Friday. And so I want to make the best of the few minutes that we have today and that we're going to spend tomorrow as well. Yesterday, we talked about the fact that God has given us a prayer book, and that prayer book is the Psalms, and that it is entirely appropriate and even intended by God for us to appropriate those prayers in the Psalms, many of them, as long as we use them correctly, and use some of them in our own prayer life. And today, I want to give you a very specific and a very, what I think is a beautiful example of that. In fact, if you haven't already designated something, I would suggest that you use this psalm in your prayer with God today. Now, this is a psalm that I just can't stay away from. It's one that I use at almost every funeral that I ever preach, and I had a lot of those lately. In fact, I have a funeral of a dear friend today where I will read this passage of scripture. It comes from Psalm 139. It's a prayer of the psalmist, and it's a prayer that you and I can use often. Listen to how it begins in Psalm 139. Lord, you have searched me and you know me. You know when I sit down, you know when I get up. You understand my thoughts from afar. You know my path and my lying down, and you are intimately acquainted with all my ways. Even before there's a word on my tongue, Lord, you know it all. You've enclosed me behind and before, and you've laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It's too high. I cannot attain to it. It's also that famous passage that goes on to say, God, you formed my inward parts. Your eyes have seen my unformed substance. You made me in my mother's womb. You were there when I was skillfully created in the depths of the earth. It is an incredible psalm showing God's intimate knowledge of not only the psalmist, but of each one of us. In fact, it's that one that says, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. But it goes on to say, Lord, you knew every day that was ordained for me before there was even one of those days. And he says, how precious are your thoughts to me, God. If I would count them, they would outnumber the sand. And he ends up concluding Psalm 139 with that famous prayer, search me, O God. See if there be some wicked way in me. See if there's some kind of iniquity in me, and lead me in the everlasting way. Now imagine being able to pray that prayer ourselves, to go through every moment of our lives and say, Lord, you search me, you know me, you know a thought that's in my head before I have the thought. You know a word before I speak that word. You've been with me from before the beginning. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. And even today, Lord, as I pray to you, you already know not only everything about me and still love me, but you know every day that's still ordained for me to live on the face of this earth. And so what Psalm 139 enables us to do is to use it as a template and to pray to God that way, to go back and journey through our lives, through the best times and the worst times, and realize, even as you review the worst times, that God was with you and he knew you and he was even shaping you during all of those times. And what Psalm 139 does is it allows us to be absolutely blatantly honest before God, because we know he already knows it all anyway. He already knows the bad thoughts that I have. He already knows the worst moments of my life. He was there. He knows the things that are in my mind. He knows the words that are on my tongue. He's always been there, and he's walked with me through my entire life, and He knows the future of the rest of my life. And what that enables me to do is to say, God, search me, know my anxious thoughts, see if there's any wicked way or any iniquity in me, and lead me in the everlasting way. There's another little statement that the psalmist makes in this passage that I think is so appropriate for us in prayer, and that is to say, Lord, your thoughts are precious to me. How vast is the sum of them. And so Psalm 139 is an incredible exchange for us in prayer with God, because we are seeking and begging to know the thoughts of God as we open His Word. But we're also acknowledging that He knows our every thought, our every word, our every deed, and we're asking Him to examine us and to lead us forward. If you don't have something already planned for your time of prayer today, use that Psalm 139 template. Cry out to God, walk again through your life with Him, and ask Him to lead you in the everlasting way. And if you'll do that, I guarantee you it'll be one of the best prayer times that you've ever had. God bless you as you pray to Him today.